Think about it. There's this one number, your credit score, that pretty much dictates your whole financial life. For the longest time, it was, people in a back room crunching the numbers. Not anymore. Now, an AI is calling the shots. And this isn't just a small change. It's a revolution that could open up financial opportunities for millions. Or it could build brand new walls, ones we can't even see. So let's just get right to it with the big question. An AI is deciding your credit score. I mean, really think about that. The next time you go for a car loan, a mortgage, whatever, the final yes or no probably won't come from a person. It'll come from an algorithm. The real question is that fair? Let's dig in and see.
Okay, so to really get what's going on, you have to understand this massive shift. AI isn't just some fancy calculator helping a loan officer anymore. No way. The AI is the loan officer now. It's the new gatekeeper standing between you and your financial future.
For as long as I can remember, credit scores were kind of simple. Did you pay your bills on time? How much debt were you carrying? Pretty basic stuff. But AI? It just throws that whole playbook out the window. It's a complete game changer. Instead of just a few data points, AI can look at thousands of things. We're talking about alternative data. And that means, well, everything. Your rent payments, your utility bills, heck, even your shopping habits or how you use Uber. It's all fair game now to build this incredibly detailed profile of who you are financially. But let's be real, the old system was not great. I mean, it was heavily criticized for years. A lot of people felt, as this quote points out, that it was basically designed to separate people into boxes, those who get credit and those who don't. If you didn't fit the perfect mold, you were just locked out. So the system was pretty broken, which, basically rolled out the red carpet for a tech solution to come in and shake things up. And that big tech solution, the one everyone was hoping for, yep, it was AI. The promise here was just massive. The idea was that this super smart technology could finally look past all the old, flawed ways of doing things and create a system that was actually fair for everyone. So one of the biggest flaws in the old way was this thing called credit invisibility. Just imagine for a second, you're fresh out of college, or maybe you just moved to the country, or you're a senior who just doesn't like using credit cards. You're responsible, you pay your rent, your phone bill, everything on time. But because you don't have a credit card history, to the banks, you might as well be a ghost. You're completely invisible. So what happened when they finally let AI look at all that other data? Honestly, the results were just incredible. This chart, it says it all. You can see the before and after, and the change is just huge. Look at those green bars right there. For young people, approvals shot up by over 67%. And for people with lower incomes, it was almost 69%. It's like AI suddenly gave the system a new pair of eyes to see the people who were always there, but were completely overlooked before. But hold on. The most mind-blowing number is this one. For new immigrants, a group that was almost totally shut out of the system, approvals jumped by a staggering 132%. That's not just opening a door, that's blowing the whole wall down. This, right here, is the promise of AI in the real world. Absolutely amazing. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? All of this incredible progress didn't come for free. There was a hidden catch. While AI was busy fixing one major problem, it was quietly creating a whole new one, something you could call a ghost in the machine. And this ghost, it threatens to undo all that good. And this brings us to the famous black box problem. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine you go to court, and the judge is a super genius. They listen to your case and then just say, guilty. No explanation, no reasoning, nothing. You'd be outraged, right? Well, that's what these AI models can be like. They're so incredibly complex that sometimes even the people who built them can't fully explain why they made a certain decision. And if you can't get an explanation, how on earth can you know if it was a fair one? So how does that unfairness, that bias, actually get inside the black box? Well, this flowchart here lays it out beautifully. It really all boils down to the data it learns from. Think of it this way. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed an AI a ton of historical data that's already full of human biases and past inequalities, and let's face it, most of it is, the AI doesn't just learn those biases, it can actually make them worse, baking them into every decision it makes from then on. And this isn't just theoretical stuff. It happens in really specific ways. The AI could learn from old data where certain groups of people were just left out. But it gets even sneakier. The AI can use what's called a proxy. For example, it's illegal to make a lending decision based on someone's race. Of course. But what about their zip code? The AI can use that. And if, because of decades of housing patterns, a certain zip code is mostly home to a particular race, well, the AI has just found a backdoor to discriminate without ever technically breaking the rule. It's a huge, huge problem.
So this is the big challenge for everyone in tech and finance right now. How do we crack open that black box? There's literally a race going on to figure out how to make these AI decisions transparent and, most importantly, fair and accountable. The main answer people are working on is something called explainable AI, or XAI for short. The goal sounds simple, but it's really, really hard to do. It's to build an AI that can actually explain its own thinking. So instead of just getting a flat denied, you'd get something like, sorry, your application was denied because your debt is a little too high for your income right now. See the difference? It's about building a bridge so we can actually understand what the machine is thinking.
So how do you actually build one of these good AI systems? This framework here gives us a great blueprint. It's not just about dumping data into an algorithm and hoping for the best. No, it's like a quality control assembly line. The data goes in, but then it has to pass through all these checkpoints. You have fairness constraints that set the ground rules. You have bias testing to constantly check the results. It's a whole system of feedback loops and monitoring to make sure the AI is staying on the right track. Okay, so who's actually using this stuff? This data is pretty telling. It's the new kids on the block, right? The online marketplaces and the fintech startups. They're all in, almost 100% adoption. But then you look at the old guard, the regional banks, the credit unions, and they're lagging way behind. And it makes sense, right? This stuff is expensive and requires a ton of technical skill. So there's this big divide opening up between the new tech-focused companies and the more traditional banks.
So where do we go from here? What does all this mean for us? Well, we're really at a fork in the road. We're deciding right now what it even means to have a financial identity in this new age of AI. When you get right down to it, the AI itself isn't good or bad. It's just a tool, a really powerful tool. A better way to think of it is like a mirror. It's simply going to reflect whatever we show it, the data, the rules, the values that we program into it. That amazing power it has to include more people is just as real as its power to create new forms of bias. Which way it goes? Well, that's on us.
And that brings us full circle, back to that first big question, but with a new angle. Look, this technology isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay. So the real question isn't, is it fair, but who is responsible for making it fair? Is it the tech companies, the banks, the government? Or is it on all of us, the people whose lives are shaped by these decisions? Do we have a responsibility to demand that these systems are transparent and accountable? That's the question I want to leave you with.